American software engineers Ben and Sean are en route to Russia when a sudden electrical malfunction causes a momentary blackout on their plane. Fortunately, the power swiftly returns, allowing them to safely touch down in Moscow. Their purpose in Russia is to seek local investors for their application, which specializes in locating bars and events in the vicinity. Sean, sporting a worn-out suit, improvises a makeshift fix for a hole using a marker. During their journey to the company, they stumble upon two American girls enjoying themselves while using their app. Upon arriving in a meeting room, they are stunned to find their colleague Skylar has already commenced the investment discussion, having appropriated their concept and is now marketing a knockoff version to the Russian market. Disregarded by Skylar, they are escorted out by security. Later, seeking solace, Ben and Sean head to a club for drinks. Sean's interest in a girl is thwarted when he realizes she is with Skylar. Encountering the girls from the app, Anna and Natalie, they strike up a conversation, pleased that the girls recognize them from their developer blog. The foursome enjoys themselves immensely until a sudden power outage and phone malfunction prompts everyone in the town to rush outside. They witness an awe-inspiring yellow aurora illuminating the sky, which then fragments into luminous orbs cascading down upon the city, spreading out to cover more ground. A luminous orb from the falling objects lands perilously close to Sean's group, prompting a collective step back in sheer astonishment. Its appearance remains obscured, only offering a faint shimmer from certain angles. A cautious police officer decides to approach it tentatively, prodding it with his baton, only to meet a sudden and horrifying fate as the light engulfs him. Another officer attempts to neutralize the mysterious entity with a gunshot, only for the bullet to meet the same disintegration fate. More orbs materialize, wreaking havoc and claiming numerous lives within their reach. Seeking refuge, Sean's group hurriedly retreats back into the club, hastily shutting the doors behind them. However, their sanctuary is short-lived as the light obliterates the windows, breaching their defenses. Amidst the chaos, an individual improvises a makeshift Molotov cocktail using bar supplies, momentarily repelling the creature with fire. Skylar rushes into the club, callously shutting the door behind him, leaving his date to meet a swift demise. Seizing an opportunity, Sean's group flees through a breach in the wall, finding refuge in a supply room along with a wounded bartender. In the relative safety of the supply room, the group manages to eke out survival as hours pass by, sustained by the provisions within. Tragically, the bartender succumbs to his injuries, prompting the group to take measures to preserve his remains, wrapping them in plastic and duct tape to mitigate decomposition and odor. After 5 days of seclusion, dwindling food supplies force the group to contemplate venturing out in search of the U.S. Embassy. Upon emerging from their hiding place, they discover the bar utterly ravaged and deserted, hastily scavenging whatever provisions and a map of Moscow they can find before setting out. However, the map proves to be of limited utility, lacking crucial landmarks. Navigating through the desolate and debris-strewn streets, the group encounters an eerie silence punctuated only by the sound of their own footsteps. Suddenly, their attention is drawn to a Russian woman fortifying her apartment window, her warnings about unseen dangers lost in translation. Pressing on, they eventually locate the bridge leading to the embassy, only to find it obliterated by a warship collision. Undeterred, they press forward, traversing through the ruins until they reach Red Square, where they stumble upon an abandoned police vehicle. Skylar and the girls take cover nearby as Ben and Sean cautiously approach, prying open the trunk to uncover a more detailed map and a flared gun. Their efforts are interrupted by the sudden disintegration of a barking dog, prompting frantic warnings for the group to seek refuge inside a nearby mall. Taking shelter beneath the police car, Ben and Sean narrowly evade detection as the ominous entity draws near, triggering the car's siren and lights before ultimately departing its search, leaving the hidden duo unscathed. After reuniting with the rest of the group inside the mall, they are startled to discover a crash airliner embedded within the building's structure. Skylar suggests remaining there until help arrives, but Sean and Ben advocate for pressing onward to increase their chances of survival. Exiting the mall, they set out in search of the U.S. Embassy, only to find it similarly devastated. Skylar seizes the semi-automatic rifle, displaying an alarming enthusiasm for its firepower. His reckless behavior earns him disapproval from the group. Assigned to guard duty, Skylar remains at the entrance while the others scour the building for survivors. However, their search yields no results except for reports detailing the catastrophic events unfolding globally. With global communications severed after a mere 3 minutes post-attack, they learn that numerous capital cities have fallen victim to the invasion. The only recourse outlined is seeking refuge underground as indicated on a map within the Situation Room. Upon discovering a map with numerical markings indicating estimated survivor counts, the group is disheartened by the grim realization of the dwindling population. Amidst the chaos, gunshots ring out, signaling Skylar's desperate flight down the street. Sean and Ben decide to pursue him, grabbing the map and radio before rushing out. Simultaneously, Anne and Natalie spot an approaching monster and race to warn the others. Upon reaching Skylar, the blaring car alarms alert them to the creature's proximity. Skylar sacrifices himself, diverting the creature's attention with gunfire to ensure the others escape, ultimately meeting a swift demise. As the group reunites, Sean notices a room illuminated with power in a distant apartment building, suspecting it as Skylar's destination. Evading detection by the creatures, they navigate through the city under the cover of darkness, reaching the apartment building just before sunrise. However, their progress is halted when Vika, brandishing a gun, blocks their path and speaks in Russian. Explaining their shared pursuit of the light, the group is relieved to find that Vika also speaks English. Vika leads them to the illuminated apartment where they meet Sergei, the owner, who has transformed the space into a Faraday cage to shield against electromagnetic fields. Sergei welcomes them as fellow survivors and explains his diesel generator setup, providing a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos engulfing the city. The group listens to the radio message with Vika translating. It says a nuclear submarine in the Moscow River will rescue survivors before morning. Many submarines worldwide are doing the same as their perfect Faraday cages. The group agrees to find the submarine together but needs supplies first. Vika, Natalie, and Anne scavenge other apartments, but they forget to close the latch properly. Meanwhile, Sergei shows Sean and Ben a microwave gun he built, hoping it disrupts the monster's shields. As the girls search for supplies, the creatures detect them and move to attack. Their movement is revealed by exterior lights and the girls flee. Vika tries to find a hiding spot but decides to run to Sergei's apartment. They manage to hide behind a glass table and Sergei fires the microwave gun, freezing the creature briefly. However, it quickly regains invisibility and disintegrates Sergei. Sean and Ben escape through a fire escape while Natalie sets diesel fuel on fire to cover their escape. Sadly, Anne is too slow and is disintegrated by the creature. The trio reunites with Vika outside and flees as flames engulf the apartment. Minutes later, they encounter Russian policemen armed with homemade weapons and shields. The police tell them to hide as they engage the monster with gunfire, a flamethrower, and a rocket-propelled grenade. After being taken to the cops' hideout, both groups share their information. The officers express skepticism about the radio messenger's reliability, citing the distance to the river and the area's dangers. Despite the risks, the group insists on leaving, prompting initial reluctance from the cops, who prioritize protecting their home. Natalie delivers a heartfelt speech about longing for her own home, persuading the cops to at least escort them to the river. Together, they traverse the subway tunnels for added security, tossing miniature light bulbs to detect monsters. The bulbs immediately illuminate, prompting a frantic rush to hide on the subway platform as the creature's light attacks. As they jump onto the train tracks for safety, Vinka becomes trapped behind a pillar. Ben heroically goes back to rescue her, but is tragically caught by the light, leaving Sean in shock. Natalie urges him to keep moving, and the group escapes the tunnel with no further losses. Arriving at the river, they find a boat and set sail while mourning their fallen friends. Sean bids a final farewell to Ben, regretting not having the chance to say goodbye earlier. Just as they spot the approaching submarine, a nearby building collapses, causing debris to capsize their boat. Sean, Vika, and the cops manage to swim to the submarine, where they are greeted by the captain. The team devises a plan to lure the aliens using ringing phones while the cops spill water from a tank truck to amplify the microwave gun's effect. Vika joins the fray, throwing Molotov cocktails to force the aliens onto the water where they're vulnerable. The cops reveal 3 exposed aliens' bodies and systematically destroy them. Amidst the chaos, Sean reunites with Natalie inside the bus, but an alien's electrical surge causes the doors to shut and the bus to move. Despite Sean's attempts to shoot it, the movement disrupts his aim. The alien grabs Natalie's leg, but Sean manages to freeze it with the waves. Natalie takes control of the bus, steering it to prevent a crash, while Sean continues to fend off the alien. Though frozen, the alien remains alive, posing a persistent threat. Sean, devoid of conventional weaponry, improvises by using the piece of black substance to detonate the alien, finally halting the bus's movement as the electrical source is eliminated. With the danger averted, the group hastily retreats to the submarine. However, the cops opt to remain behind, determined to defend their home and trusting Sean with the task of spreading the knowledge of defeating the aliens to the world. As the submarine departs, a technician repairs Natalie's cell phone, allowing her to receive a reassuring text message from her mom, who is safe with other survivors at Penn Station. Sean and Natalie share a tender moment, but their intimate exchange is interrupted by Vika's disapproval. Despite this, they remain determined to join the resistance against the alien invasion. Later, as they study the embassy's map and listen to shortwave radio reports of resistance groups, they resolve to lend their aid to those fighting against the aliens. With this decision made, the movie concludes. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.